All right, we are back from our cruise on board the Disney Magic, and a lot of things happened in the cruise news last week. We got everything from broken mooring lines to itinerary changes to engine issues and another cruise line returning to the old muster drill. So let's get into the cruise news. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to today's video. And we're going to start off with Miami, Florida. So yesterday in Miami, they were having a big major marathon, caused a lot of road closures, increased traffic, and it really affected cruisers being able to get to the ships on embarkation day. They had the tunnel closed, which made it really difficult for everybody to get to the actual cruise port. Now the cruise lines, they were aware of it. They knew that these delays were coming. They were trying to wait, get everybody on board the best that they possibly could. Hopefully, everybody made it on board. Hopefully, nobody missed their embarkation day. But it is always a good idea to know what is going on in the city that you are sailing from, because you never know whether it's a marathon going on in Miami, possibly a rocket launch going on in Cape Canaveral. Anything like that could possibly affect the area around your cruise port. So that's also just a good idea to know what's going on in the city that you're embarking from, just so you can be aware of any upcoming delays. This past Friday, a powerful storm down in New Zealand caused one of the mooring lines on Holland Americas Noordam to break while she was docked. So it was around 11:15 in the morning, the mooring line broke, and this caused the Noordam to have to restart her engines in order to remain properly at the cruise dock. Now, cruise ships are held by many lines. It was only one that broke, so restarting the engine is just kind of a safety thing to make sure she stays in the proper position, especially during the high winds. There was no damage to the ship, no injury to any passengers, anything like that. However, when they did restart the engines, it caused a little bit of a wake there in the ferry basin, disrupted the local ferry service for about an hour until they were able to reattach the line and shut back off the engines. But the most important thing, of course, no injuries to anybody and no damage to the ship. She, of course, continued on with her cruise with no further problems. Engine problems with Royal Caribbean's Grandeur of the Seas. Well, this has caused an itinerary change for the February 10th sailing out of Miami. So first, the ship is going to be departing Miami earlier, originally scheduled to depart at 5 p.m. The ship is now going to depart at 3:30 p.m. The stop in San Juan, Puerto Rico has been canceled, and the stop in St. Croix in the Virgin Islands has been shortened. Due to speed limitations caused by a technical issue with one of the ship's engines, we've had to modify our itinerary. We'll now depart from Miami, Florida at 3:30 p.m. instead of 5 p.m. Additionally, we will now have a sea day instead of visiting San Juan, Puerto Rico. While we will lose a little time in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, we've added extra time to explore in Labradee, Haiti. Now, this is not the first time that Royal Caribbean's Grandeur of the Seas has had engine problems. And being Royal Caribbean's oldest cruise ship still in the fleet, it just may be that she is beginning to show her age and starting to have more and more problems. Hopefully this is a problem that they are able to get a handle on, get it fixed, and it won't affect any additional sailings. This is the only one that they've made the itinerary change for as of yet. We'll keep our ears out to see if we hear of any others. Now, also last Friday, Norwegian Cruise Line's Norwegian Escape, well, she was forced to cancel her port stop at Great Stirrup Cay due to high winds, and instead spent the day out at sea. Now, Great Stirrup Cay is a tender port, so when the winds get high, the tender boats have an issue. It's a safety issue with them getting from the ship to the dock, as well as passengers getting from the ship into the tenders can all be safety issues in high winds. And if the cruise line feels that it's unsafe, they are going to cancel the cruise stop. Now, anybody who had excursions booked on Great Stirrup Cay will automatically receive a 100% refund for those particular excursions. And finally, Norwegian Cruise Lines, well, they also announced last week that they were going to return to the traditional muster style drill effective immediately. The safety of our guests and crew members is our number one priority. We continuously evaluate our procedures for providing detailed instructions on safety and security measures to our guests, and as such have made the decision to reinstate synchronized muster drills on embarkation day across all vessels in the fleet. Now that was sent out back on January the 23rd, and it went into effect immediately. So for all of Norwegian's 18 cruise ships, they started with the old muster drill or traditional muster drill upon their next embarkation day. Now NCL is the second cruise lines to go back to the traditional style muster drill, right behind Disney Cruise Lines. And at this time, both Carnival Cruise Lines and Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines have stated they are going to continue with the current e-muster drill and do not have plans to revert back to the traditional one, at least not yet. Now, hopefully that means that they're not going to at all, because like a lot of people, I really enjoy the new e-muster versus the old traditional style muster drill. And cruise lines, they've said it's because passengers won't go to the e-muster drill. They don't comply. They don't always watch the safety video. And that could be a possibility of why Norwegian and Disney have both gone back to the old style muster drill. But the cruise lines have also said it has a lot to do with crew personnel. It takes more ship personnel to do an e-muster than it does to do a traditional muster. In the traditional muster, you have 1 or 2 crew members talking to a large group all at once, versus e-muster where you have several crew members around each e-muster station talking to people, directing them into the right place. So for cruise lines, particularly let's say like Norwegian, which have had a lot of cutbacks recently, we've seen them decreasing the pay of some of their crew members. Maybe going to the old traditional style muster drill has more to do with crew personnel than it did with getting passengers to comply with e-muster. Now that is just a guess. Norwegian says it is for safety, and that could be exactly what drove their decision. It's just a thought I had off the top of my head. You guys will have to let me know what you think about that. Now, I just went through the old style traditional muster drill this past Monday when we boarded on board the Disney Magic, because they are doing that style of muster drill. And they did a pretty good job. It didn't take as long as I thought it would. They seemed to have the process down really well. We were there for about 20 minutes. And the only real bad part of it was at the end, because they release everybody from the muster station all at the exact same time. So you have an entire ship full of passengers all trying to say get back up to the Lido deck, use the stairs, use the elevators all at once. And it created a bit of a crowding issue, but the physical muster drill did not take all that long. But you guys let me know what you think about Norwegian Cruise Lines going back to the old muster drill. Is it for safety, or is it for personnel, or do you think it's for a whole other reason? Let me know what you guys think. All right, and that is our cruise news video for today. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. Hope everyone out there is having a really great day, and like always, we will see you out on the high seas.